Hello, so this is our hazard map tour by Pablo and Melanie. So here we're going to be showing you our first hazard, which is hurricanes off the western coast of Mexico. So one of the worst hurricanes this area has experienced is the 1976 Hurricane Lisa, which was a Category 4. That hurricane came down and went towards the La Paz area and devastated the area, causing about 1,300 deaths and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. So it's a very devastating disaster. One thing about this area is that hurricanes are starting to get worse as a result of climate change. Most recently, in 2015, we had Hurricane Patricia, which was the biggest hurricane in this area ever recorded at magnitude 5, with about 250 miles per hour sustained winds. So it was an impressive hurricane as well. So, we're seeing bigger hurricanes in not only this area, also all over the world as a result of climate change. So let's zoom into La Paz. La Paz is the state capital for Baja California. It's right next to the Gulf of California, or the Sea of Cortez, was as it was once was known, right? So here's La Paz. Let's zoom in there. Yeah. So hurricanes are a big threat to many parts of the world, and their intensity is increasing as a result of climate change and warming ocean waters. Warm waters provide more fuel basically for these hurricanes. So let's go to the next hazard. Our next hazard is tsunamis. One of the most recent tsunamis that we had were the 2011 tsunamis in Japan, which were a result of an earthquake, a 9.1 magnitude earthquake, the Tohoku earthquake. So the Tohoku earthquake, which happened around this vicinity, resulted in an immense tsunami. The earthquake didn't cause much destruction. The tsunami is the one that led to the bulk of destruction. It led to the loss of 16,000 lives and about 2,000 people missing. This tsunami caused around $360 billion in damage, and also created a nuclear disaster, basically. The Daiichi nuclear power plant in Fukushima was destabilized as a result of this tsunami. The earthquake, created a lot of chaos in this coastal area, but the tsunamis what really did the whole thing in, and it caused the majority of the destruction and death. So here's at the Daiichi nuclear power plant. Let's zoom in here in the town of Futaba. So the Daiichi nuclear power plant, because the tsunami was completely destabilized, and here's some of the reactors you have right here, and the result of it was this disaster. And this is another thing about our infrastructure. It goes to show how important it is where we place it and the way we build things and how we build them. And also taking consideration a lot of these risks, because a nuclear meltdown could have been a lot more worse than a tsunami. It could have caused even more death. So that's the second hazard, the threat of tsunamis. So let's go to our third hazard. Our third hazard is going to be in Southern California. So let's make our way over there. So look, here we see the Ring of Fire, down here by Japan, by the Alaska area, the Aleutian Islands. So the third hazard is going to be earthquakes. So here we have the San Andreas Fault. It's about 780 miles, runs from down here, goes all the way north into Northern California, and then makes its way out back into the Pacific. So our part of this hazard map is the southern segment of the San Andreas Fault. The southern segment of the San Andreas Fault, unlike the northern segment, has not seen much activity. The last earthquake we had here was in 1857, the Fort Tejon earthquake. The Fort Tejon earthquake was a 7.9 magnitude earthquake. At that time, this area was sparsely populated. There wasn't much going on here. So here's Fort Tejon. So that earthquake was in this vicinity. And you see the San Andreas Fault right here already. running right through here. Lancaster, Palmdale, south of Lancaster and Palmdale, north of the Sangam Mountains, and then the fault makes its way through, through this vicinity, which is the Cajon Pass. The Cajon Pass is, a very important artery for Southern California. They have a lot of railroad traffic and freeways and utilities. So this area, it has a big potential for a future large earthquake. It could cause billions of dollars in damage and completely devastate the state of California. The state of California has a $3 trillion economy, 40 million people. 18 million of those people live here in Southern California, between Orange County, San Bernardino County, LA County, and Ventura County. So these southern counties. So it's pretty interesting, and it's something that we have to keep in mind, that we live in an area that's very active with earthquakes. So here's downtown LA. So this whole area is at risk. Downtown LA is a little more at risk than other areas because there's a lot of sediment in this area, so increases the intensity of the shaking. So let's take a look at a street view of downtown LA. You could probably go here by the Civic Center. And so here's the Civic Center in downtown LA. Yeah, so this area has an immense earthquake hazard. So it's something that we have to prepare for. So thank you very much for watching our video. This is by Melanie and myself, and it's gonna be. I hope you enjoyed it.